What's not depressing is the holiday movie season, which is now here. This means blockbusters, family films, and time to consider which movies might win awards. One of this season's most anticipated openings is, what is that, some movie called Star Wars?
Star Wars?
Indie film, yeah? Star Wars, The Last Jedi.
The latest installment in the sci-fi franchise is reportedly projected to earn $200 million in its first weekend when it opens December 15th. Slate film critic Dana Stevens and New York Times culture reporter Melena Ryzik are here. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Let's talk Star Wars. I've been talking about it all morning long during the commercial breaks. How big is this movie expected to be?
I think it's fair to say it's going to be huge. Would you say, Dana?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a movie that's attracting even people out, if there are such a thing, people that are outside the Star Wars fandom. I mean, it's one that I think people have been looking forward to for a long time.
So we know why a super fan would want to go see it, but for a non-super fan who has not been talking about this during the breaks, what's in it for me?
Okay, well, I'll make the pitch. So the director of this movie, Rian Johnson, is a really interesting indie director who people are excited to see get into this franchise because I think he could bring some really original ideas to it. And whatever he's doing, they're happy enough with it that they've now assigned him another entire Star Wars trilogy after this movie.
So you're satiating the older kids, right? But what about the younger ones? I'm thinking of taking my 5-year-old to see Coco over the weekend, Pixar's Coco. It's getting some good reviews, doing phenomenally well in Mexico, correct?
Yeah, join the club. I mean, it's definitely going to be the top movie this week. When you look at a Pixar movie, you know, at the end of the year box office lists, these movies are always at the top of the chain. So they're doing something right in terms of attracting new audiences with a movie that's set in a Mexican cultural world.
So let's talk about Jumanji. There's a reboot of Jumanji, which of course starred Robin Williams in the original. It's also coming out. Why this one?
I mean, this one seems interesting to me in that it takes the original Jumanji idea, which is that you can jump into a board game and become part of the game, into the digital era. So there's kids who jump into a video game and become their avatars. So in fact, I think there's a 12-year-old kid who becomes The Rock. Right.
Rock's in it. Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, exactly.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, though, very different from Robin Williams. I mean, how's that going to change the way the film plays?
I think you've got somebody like Kevin Hart in the movie as well, so you have that kind of buddy comedy aspect. That's what they're probably banking on.
And let's move to Steven Spielberg's The Post. Of course, it's about the Pentagon Papers starring Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep. Given the political environment we're in right now, do you think it's going to bring more people to this movie than it would have otherwise?
Well, it's an interesting question. I mean, are people going to turn out for it, or are they going to want to break? I think from the political angle, it's a very timely movie, and I think it hopefully will find its fans. You know, it could be the kind of movie that Spotlight was a couple years ago, where it attracts people who are interested in the news, interested in these ideas, and it's definitely one to watch during Oscar season.
Dana, there's a drama called Call Me By Your Name, and you're describing it as the great date movie of the winter, a movie you want to not just watch, but live in. What do you mean by that?
I love this movie. I'm glad we got to it because it's a little smaller, maybe more of an art house offering, but it's great. It's a gay romance. It's directed by an Italian director named Luca Guadagnino, and it takes place in Italy in the summer. So if you want to go and get sort of some bottled summer in the middle of winter, it's just a beautiful, languorous, romantic film.
I can get into that.
Yeah,
that works for me.
Melena, I'm curious because the last time you were here, we were talking about sexual scandals in Hollywood, and I'm curious, just psychologically, how important is this box office season for Hollywood, given all of the scandals and the turmoil that we've been covering over the past few months? Your paper in particular unfolding a lot of the scandal.
Yeah, well, when you talk about award season, there is going to be a sort of elephant missing in the room, which is the Weinstein Company and those kind of movies. They were known for their Oscar campaigns. That's not going to be in evidence this year. But I think in terms of box office, I mean, Hollywood is always looking for a great holiday season, especially since they haven't had, an excellent year overall, with a few notable exceptions like Wonder Woman. But, Star Wars is going to bring us back. The Post is going to be that sort of thinking person's movie. So I think they will probably wrap up well.
And Coco for me tomorrow,
Coco
guys,
for you guys.
Where to find me.
Right, and Tony, you and Katie can go see Call Me By Your Name, but you should go see Star Wars. I'm sure Katie will.
I don't know. Dana and Melena, thank you so much for being here.